Our presentation today is about problem-solving problem patrons. This presentation will include the following sections. We will first define the term problem patron and accept different outlook on problem patrons as problem behaviors. Next, we will show effective ways for handling problem behaviors, which include empathy, seeking solutions, and conflict management. Then we will present means for preventing future conflicts. We will conclude the presentation with a discussion on non-face-to-face technologies that present unique challenges. It is important to define and understand the problem patron in order to deal with their bad behavior. The concept of the problem patron is not a new phenomenon. Peatling, found in the writings of a mid-19th century British librarians, complaints about women talking too loudly, and many other problems. Today, the use of the phrase problem patron is problematic. The problem with using the phrase problem patrons is that the wording identifies patrons as being the problem. This leads to targeting entire classes of individuals, which is morally and legally wrong. We cannot target the homeless, senior citizens, etc. We must target inappropriate or problem behaviors. In addition, the behaviors identified must be applied equitably to all. For example, a rule against odors must apply to individuals drenched in perfume, as well as those with offensive body odors. Problem behaviors break down into two parts, the exhibitor and the observer. The exhibitor is someone exhibiting a behavior. Since everyone is exhibiting some form of behavior at all times, the problem behavior becomes problematic when the observer deems that behavior as inappropriate or feels uneasy, discomforted, or disrupts routine. The observer is incredibly important, as one behavior can be considered normal and allowed in one location, yet inappropriate in another. Thus, the problem behavior is a social construct based on multiple factors. For example, public displays of affection may be allowed in San Francisco Public Library, while deemed inappropriate in more rural or traditional libraries. Since problem behaviors are social constructs, libraries must identify what behaviors are deemed inappropriate for their libraries. Example behaviors tend to revolve around being disruptive, aggressive, aberrant, criminal, destructive, offensive, etc. Here are a few examples of correctly identifying problem behaviors. Do not target the homeless, senior citizens, children, teenagers, etc. Do target strong smells, no matter the source, body odor, or perfume. Internet porn, cursing, abuse, and many other inappropriate behaviors. Now that we have identified problem behaviors, not patrons, we may consider how we deal with problem behaviors.
The importance of empathy. First off, it is important for staff to understand empathy and how it relates to successful problem solving. Empathy involves understanding another person's perspective without giving up your own position. Identifying with another while in a dispute or confrontation can be very difficult. By making a conscious effort to understand another, you are placing yourself in a much better position to resolve or defuse the difficult situation. Empathizing solutions. Remember, how well you empathize with others depends on your careful observation and response to both verbal and nonverbal behaviors, such as eye contact, tone of voice, and facial expressions. Active listening begins by closely attending to what the other person is saying. Then respond accordingly with accurate and precise language. Be assertive. Defend your position by standing by your positions. This can be done simply by making more I statements. By using I statements, you are claiming ownership of your position. For example, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I am not going to allow that because it distracts others. You can practice assertion by stating your emotions. In addition to awareness, it is also important for you to maintain positive behaviors such as tone of voice, eye contact, posture, and facial expressions. Effective management of conflict. Managing a conflict through collaboration requires problem-solving a solution that satisfies both conflicting parties. What is the problem? Problem solving requires you to define what is exactly the problem. It requires you to identify solutions and then pick the best one to remedy the issue. Collaborate success. There are 5 important characteristics to understanding collaboration, all of which involve problem solving. But collaboration emphasizes effective communication because it involves reaching a solution with another person. First, you need to know what is the issue or define the problem. Second, what are the causes of the problem? Third, both parties should understand the goal of the conflict. Fourth, propose solutions and, if possible, approach a solution by working together. Then lastly, select and apply the solution. Many times, success in collaboration is directly related to how well you manage to observe and empathize with the other person.
We have identified types of problem behavior and conflict management. Now we will explore ways to prevent creating an environment rife with conflict. The key is to equip library staff with appropriate tools for effective communication. We achieve this goal by using effective hiring practices and creating a standardized system of training practices. We also provide staff with supplemental resources. How do we know that the library staff will respond to problematic patron behavior with empathy and conflict management? We hire people with the desirable skills. Job descriptions clearly define the communication skills required for successful interaction with patrons of our public library. The goal is to attract the ideal candidates to work in our library. An accurate and concise job description provides supervisors with a tool to assess communication skills on performance appraisal, and it lets employees know the workplace expectations. Effective hiring practices also enable administrators to develop brand management by asking open-ended questions with problem-solving scenarios in interviews. For example, an interviewer may ask, "Please explain how you would respond to a patron complaining about another patron sleeping in the library." Examples of responses to verbal, print, and electronic communication will be discussed in greater depth later in this training presentation. How do you know that your coworker will respond appropriately to problem behavior? Every new employee receives training at the time of hire. Supplementary training is provided to refresh skills and provide tools for adaptation to changes in the library patron base. Professional development opportunities such as conferences, webinars, and in-services allow us to retool as needed. Next, we will discuss prevention tools that are available to library staff every day. Library staff are accustomed to providing reference resources for patrons. Likewise, library managers provide reference materials for addressing problem behavior. The Circulation Desk Handbook contains information such as policies and procedures, frequently asked questions, and who to call in various situations requiring assistance. We also have a log of incidents to communicate between coworkers. The danger is we must use absolutely correct terminology to avoid being seen as prejudice against patron types, rather than targeting the problem behavior. These resources equip staff with tools to avoid the need for reactive sensitivity training, as is depicted in this picture from the television show The Office. Most of your interaction with library patrons will be face-to-face, but next we will discuss other ways of communicating with library patrons.
Yes, we have lots of ways, thanks to the technology, that we can communicate with patrons. One of those ways is the ubiquitous phone. The phone, almost everybody has a phone of their own now, including young patrons, such as children. And the phones are great, but a lot of the communication part is lost when you use the phones compared to the face-to-face communication. in particular body language. We can't see the face or the body. And so we lose a huge portion of the communication. In fact, according to Werber and Brent, 93% of emotional meaning in communication is nonverbal. That's a huge chunk. So to combat that, we need to employ the paralanguage. In particular, if we utilize and control the pitch, volume, rate, quality, intonation, and vocal interferences, we can use it to better provide the quality and emotion to the voice, and hopefully the patrons will have a better understanding of what we're trying to communicate with. Now, one of the things we can do is we can smile when we communicate with patrons. Even over the phone, smile can be heard because it changes the tone of voice. Also, we need to remember that patrons don't know exactly what we're doing, and so in order to signal, or rather, in order to end the communication, we can't really signal it very well, and so it's best to let the other person hang up first. Then there's, of course, regular letters and email to communicate. Now, those are even more difficult because other than lack of the body language, there's also absence of sound as well. And so we must completely rely on the writing skills. And for that purpose, we need to have proper grammar as well as punctuation in order to eliminate any kind of mistakes which might give the other person a different interpretation of what we're trying to say. The good thing about, for example, email or written letter is we can think it over and double check before we hit the send button. Now, that's not exactly the same when it comes to instant communication such as chat or text. And there, while it's the same issues as with emails, people usually feel a little bit freer in using chat and text, and so they omit a lot of the same proper grammar and punctuation when they use. For example, emoticons and abbreviations are widely used, and also a lack of or too much capitalization. And those things should be avoided again in order to be professional and to avoid any kind of unnecessary meaning that we might give to our message. Now, generally, we might want to consider for technology as well as other face-to-face communication is we should know the policies. The policies will make it clear of what we need to do and how to act. And we also must be proactive in the way we communicate. So we need to let the patron know what the problem is. Sometimes that's all we need, because oftentimes the patron are not even aware of what the problem is. And if they do, they can solve the problem. And we also need to be very clear and specific about what we're saying, because unlike face-to-face, we need to compensate for the lack of the body language or voice. And then we can also check the record to know what to expect from the patron. And we can also leave the notes in order to let other people, other coworkers have the same kind of advantage. And we need to be sensitive to time, because over the phone or even during the chat, the other people don't know exactly what you're doing. And so if you're not replying for a long period of time, the person might be thinking that you're not paying attention to them. And so we need to let them know, verbally or through written ways. So, in conclusion, we have correctly identified that the problem is not the patron but unwanted behavior. These behaviors must be applied equitably. In dealing with problem behaviors, we must be empathetic, provide solutions, and practice conflict management to successfully de-escalate and solve problems. To aid in the prevention of future problems, the library must hire skilled communicators, develop communication skills in staff by providing training, and support staff with proper and necessary resources. And finally, the library will increasingly need to communicate in means other than face-to-face. Thus, we must keep in mind the positive and negative aspects of non-face-to-face communications. And as long as we do that, we should have no problem. Thank you very much for your time, and hopefully this was useful to you.